And so yes, we're gonna go over chapter 6 materials. Sounds like, so do you know what questions or what do you need to ask me for chapter 6, Faris?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I have questions from each chapter.
Each
So
sections.
yeah, each section. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did
So
you
let's
want to
start with
start from
6 1
section one?
first. Yep,
Okay. Sixth one, I have one question, which is question number 9.
in your homework.
Yeah.
Again, your homework, my homework it's the same question but different numbers.
Okay.
So I don't want to show your homework up, so I'm gonna use my homework.
Yeah, it's the same. It's basically the same. For example,
Yeah.
if it's used as secant, it's secant, but just different number, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So it says question 9, right? So it looks something like this one.
Yes.
Okay. So again, I cannot type. Let me just do. So usually there's a place that you type here that you can get. So in order for you to do this question number 9 here, the question is asking you to find a coterminal angles that is positive or negative, right? So if the question is given you 120 degrees,
Right.
so you just need to subtract 360 degrees.
Okay.
So in order for you to get the positive one, you add 360.
Okay.
So you get 480 degrees. So this is the positive one. And then for the negative one, you just subtract 360. You will get negative 240.
And you just put both of these answers in that box.
Yep. So your answer in this case will be negative 240. You do not need a degree symbol, comma 480. This is your answer for part A.
Okay. For the bottom one, it will be negative 210 plus
Nope.
360. Okay.
Nope.
How come?
Because negative 210 is given to you, so you have to give another one. So how do we find the positive one? Is you add 360. So you get what?
90. Is it 90?
No.
Or not 90. Wait.
So this is a positive one. And for the negative one, you take 210, take away 360. Take out your calculator. You can use a calculator.
The first one plus 360 is 150.
And what's the other one?
Negative 570.
Yep. So your answer in this case will be negative 570 and 150. So when you give me your answer for question 9, make sure one of these is a negative answer, one of them is a positive, and they are not the same as this one.
Okay.
Okay. Are you okay with number 9?
Yes, I'm okay with number 9. I got it.
Yep. So make sure you just add or subtract 360. Now, what happens if I ask you exactly the same question, but this time I'm giving you negative 700 degrees?
Don't you have to add 360 twice?
You're going to tell me what's your answer here. I want a positive and a negative, like what you just have here, for negative 700 degrees.
Okay.
So give me your answer.
All right, let me
You are going to work. Because in the test, I will ask you this in your test next week.
Okay, so I think the positive answer is 20. And negative 700. What? Like, how do you? I don't know how to get the B one. Do you subtract 360?
So you got a nope, you don't subtract. So you got a negative 700, right? So you add 360, right? And this is still negative, right? You add 360. So this is 20. This is correct.
Right.
So when you add before you get this, you get negative 340, right? That is the negative answer.
So it's you add it one time and it's negative 40 because it's a big number.
Okay. Yep. You can also take a negative 700 and take 360. You get what negative. This is also an answer.
Okay.
So as long as your answer is negative and it's not 700, any other numbers beside that is also correct.
And it can be higher.
It can be higher, you can be
Okay.
lower, and then the positive one, make sure that this one is positive.
Okay, I see.
Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I got 9. 9, I got it. I think I'm good with 6.1 in general, though.
Okay. What's the next one then?
6.2, I have 2 questions. Question 16 and 23.
16 and 23.
Mm-hmm.
16, 6.2. And 23?
Yeah.
All right, 16. Go all the way down here. So using a given value, find the exact value for this case. So sine 30 degrees is half and tangent root 3/3. So you have to find what is cosecant 30. You do not need to watch. You don't need to do this. You just need to figure out your unit circle.
Okay.
Because I'm teaching you this way, which is faster. They're
Okay.
all 30 and 60, right? So
Mhm.
30 degrees. Can you give me the coordinates of 30 degrees?
Yeah, one sec. I don't have it memorized yet.
You better do.
Yeah, I will. I'm working on it this week. The 30 degrees, the radians are pi over. Oh, you
No,
talking
I
about
don't
these?
want the radian. I want
Square root 3 over 2
root 3/2.
and 1.5. 1 over 2.
Okay. Now, Faris,
Mhm.
I always teach my students, your answer is either root 3/2 or 1/2.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you look at it? Is you look at, see, this one is longer, right?
Right.
Than this one, right?
Mhm.
This is your x, this is your y.
Mhm.
So that means your x is going to be root 3/2 is bigger than half.
Okay.
So that's why your answer is root 3/2. And what
Oh,
happens
I
when
see.
you got 60? This is 60. You just switch it around.
Okay.
1/2 and root 3/2.
Because y.
Because this area,
longer.
this x is shorter
Uh-huh.
than your y, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So what happens when you want to figure out cosecant 30 degrees? So if you have a unit circle, if you got these coordinates, don't forget your sine, is it your x or your y value?
My sine is my y value.
And your cosine is your
This is my x value.
x value. So cosecant is 1 over sine, right?
Yes.
And sine is y.
Sine is y.
So it's 1 over y. So can you tell me, using 30 degrees, this is 30 degrees,
Mhm.
what is y value in this case?
1 over 2.
So it's 1 over 1 over 2, which is what?
Half or
No.
2?
2, yep.
Yeah, 2.
So can you tell me what is cotangent 60 degrees using this one?
Cotangent 60 degrees. I believe it is square root of 3.
Yes. So in this case, tangent is what over what?
Tangent is x over y.
Cotangent will be
Y over x.
no, I think tangent is sine. No, tangent. Okay, make sure you know this.
Okay.
Tangent is sine over cosine, right?
Mhm. Which is y over x.
Which is y over x. So cotangent is going to be what?
X over y, just the opposite.
X over y. Yep. And what is x in this case? X is, again, this is 60. Look at here.
X is half. 1 over
And
2.
y is root 3/2, right?
Yeah.
And because they have 2, you can cancel these 2 out. So what you get?
1 over square root of 3.
Which is the same thing as
Square root of 3
over
1.
over 3.
Oh, over 3. Wait, yeah, I never knew how to do that, to be honest. I've always seen it. I just never.
So what you do here is, because you have a square root, so we multiply this by root 3.
Okay, you're okay. The top and bottom.
Yep, must be the same because your fraction. If you multiply it, it have to be the same. So that's why you get root 3/3.
So the bottom's basically just becomes 1.
No, become 3.
Oh, okay.
because this is root 9.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this
I
is what
see.
we call as rationalizing.
I see.
You need to tell me what is cosine, the next one, cosine 30 degrees.
Cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2.
So cosine is 30 degrees, this one, right? The green one.
Yes.
And cosine is x, so it's square root of 3 over 2.
Yeah.
Next, cotangent of 30 degrees.
Cotangent of 30 degrees. Isn't that square root of 3 over 3?
So again, you have to do the work.
Okay.
You're
So,
still in that level. I know
okay.
what the answer is, but you have to do the work.
Okay. X over Y, which equals a square root of 3 over 2 over 1.5, 1.5, or one half. And the 2 cancels out. So you get left out with a square root of 3.
Yep.
Okay.
That's your answer. So make sure you use the unit circle approach to look at all these crazy things, because it will make things difficult for you. So
I remember in high school, our teacher made us just memorize the unit circle, and it just helped us out with everything.
Yeah. So if you know the unit circle, then you can apply to every single one of this.
Yeah.
23 is the same thing. Tangent theta equals to root 3. So as you know that tangent is what over what?
Tangent is y over x.
Y over x. So can you figure out which one of this, when you divide y over x, you get the root 3?
It's the 60 degrees. It's
60. Yep. This
1
one,
over
right?
2. Yeah. 1 over 2 over no. It's square root of 3 over 2 over 1/2.
So your answer for theta in this case is what?
Square root of 3.
No. What angle? Theta is angle. Don't forget, theta is always degree angle. So what angle is it?
So 60.
60 in radian.
In radians, it's pi over 3.
Very good. So this is how you do this one.
Okay.
So
question. It's basically the same thing. You just have to find the radians as well.
Yeah, you find the angle. You find the angle here.
Okay, I see.
And don't forget, we got one more, which is 45 degrees, right?
Yes, in the middle. Yeah. Yep. And it has the square root of 2 over 2.
Very good. They're the same, right?
Yeah, x and y.
Okay. So the next question we have is asking is cosecant theta.
So when it's cosecant, we just apply the same rules that we apply to sine. Right?
Yep. You just flip it.
With secant. And it's with secant, it's the same thing as cosine, but you just flip it as well.
Yep. So this is the same thing as sine. Sine is y, right? So cosecant will be what?
That's the one I struggle with, because I don't know what square root of 2. Like, where would I?
Oh, no. Don't worry about that. So cosecant is 1 over y, right?
Oh, cosecant is 1 over y, yeah.
So if you take a look at your y value here, all three of these, the y, root 3 over 2, half. What happens when you, 1 over y means you flip it?
If I flip my y?
Huh?
You said if I flip my y?
I'm sorry?
You said if I flip the y?
Yeah, because cosecant is 1 over y, right? So if you take all these y values and you flip it, which one of these will give us square root of 2?
It's the one in the middle.
If you flip, you get 2.
Oh.
It's no good.
Oh, no. Okay.
I want square root of 2.
It's the first one, right? It's
the first one. And what angle is this one?
This is 60.
No.
Oh, the one in the middle? You're aiming at the one in the middle?
No, this one, right? Which one you flip? So if you, do you know what happens when you flip root 3 over 2?
No.
Flip it.
It becomes 2 over root 3.
Which is the same as what?
Which is you multiply root 3 on each side. And the bottom becomes 3, and the top becomes 2 root 3.
And this is for 60 degrees, right?
And
what's the flip for this one?
Just a 2.
Just 2. And what's the flip for this one?
The same thing. Is the wait, what is this one? Oh, 2/2.
Over root 2.
You put 2 over the root of 2, and then you multiply root of 2 on each side,
You get what?
and then you get 2 and the root of 2 over 2.
And these two will cancel, right?
Yeah, these two will cancel, and that will leave us at root 2.
So which one of this will give me an angle of root 2?
The one in the middle, the 45.
This one. Yep. The answer for
Okay.
theta in this case is 45 degrees. Or what?
And
In radian.
pi over 4.
So this is something, Faris, something that I want to point out to you here is, I recommend you to know not just these 3 numbers. You also need to know these 3 numbers also, because they are the flip.
So that's on each. So that's on each side, 60, 45, and 30.
Yep. So that means that. So you know this one is used for sine, cosine, and tangent, right? This is used for the flip one, the secant, cosecant, and cotangent.
Okay, I see.
Cotangent, cotangent, you use this one also because you just flip your y and your xy.
Yeah, cotangents are known. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is used when you have secant and cosecant. So if a question will ask you for secant or cosecant of these numbers, then your answer will be 30, 45, or 60.
Okay.
So for example is what happens if I ask you for secant theta is root 2, root 3 over 3?
It would be the first one, and the degrees of it would be 60, and the radians and pi over 3.
This is wrong.
Okay. Oh wait, it's well. Oh, okay, I see. It is 30 and pi over 6.
Thank you. That's correct.
Because it's x. Okay.
You are right.
Yeah, I just need to practice these a little more on my own. The secant.
You are right. This is correct. So make sure you still need to know your x and y, because what I'm doing here is your y value, right?
Right.
So the x value is also the same if you look at the numbers, right? But it's just been different arrangements. It's not in the same order. So you just need to figure out your own.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. This is how you do it. Yep. So as I told you, if you got secant and cosecant for these numbers, they will be either 30, 45, or 60 degrees. Make sure you know which is x, which is y.
Got it.
Are you okay with 6-2?
Yeah, 6-2, I got it. It's good.
Yep. So again, unit circle approach is what I really suggest you to do.
Okay, I got you. I'll definitely put some more time into practicing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
6-3?
6-3. Okay, I have a bunch of questions, but some of them might be similar. So I feel like answering one question would answer the other. But my first question is number 9.
So again, I use the same unit circle approach. Okay. Number 9. Okay, this one you have to use find the exact value. So you have to use your SOHCAHTOA in this case. But first thing you need to talk about when you do question this section here is you have to figure out what quadrant is this belongs to. So it's given us that cosine theta is 35 over 37. And tangent theta is less than 0. So what quadrant is this belongs to?
I kind of have trouble finding quadrants. That was also one of my questions.
Okay. So mostly what you do here is you have to know that this is all students takes calculus. Do you know what is this stands for?
ASTC? No.
This means that if it's in quadrant 1, all means all is positive. That means all 6 trigonometric, all sine, cosine, secant, cosecant, everything is positive in quadrant 1.
Okay.
In quadrant 2, sine and what is the reciprocal of sine?
What is the sine? Oh, so yeah.
Will be positive.
Okay.
Tangent and cosine will be negative in quadrant 2.
Okay.
Quadrant 3, tangent and cotangent will be positive. The rest will
Okay.
be, the sine and cosine will be negative.
Mhm.
And for the quadrant 4, cosine and secant will be positive.
Okay.
The rest will be negative.
Okay.
So how do you figure out is you kind of figure out this way. So this one is cosine, right?
Yes.
Is a value positive or negative?
Positive.
So that means this is going to be in quadrant 1 and quadrant
2 or 3 or 4. Yeah.
4, because
Yeah.
cosine.
4.
Can you tell me what quadrant for tangent belongs to negative?
3 and 4 or 2 and 4.
2 and 4. So can you tell me which one of these has both of them?
Which one has what? 2
Both.
negatives?
Yeah. Or two checkpoints. You find out this has 2 checkpoints, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
The
that means
cosecant. Quadrant
so
4.
Quadrant 4.
Okay. So it
So
has to have 2 checkpoints in order for
to figure,
okay.
yes. Yep. And then your triangles, in order for you to make a triangle, your triangle will look something like this, a ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do quadrant 4, your triangle will look something like this, which is this fellow.
Mm-hmm.
That means that this value should be positive, this value is negative, and your hypotenuse is always positive.
Okay.
Can you apply SOHCAHTOA for this case? Cosine theta is 35 over 37.
Yes. Cosine 35 over 37.
Yep. So where is this 35? Where is 35 and where's 37 in your triangles?
Hold on.
Opposite,
Yeah, opposite, adjacent,
and hypotenuse, right?
Yes. And the cosine is trying to remember it now.
So come on, SOHCAHTOA, we tell you that.
Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so
Oh.
the adjacent will be 35, and the hypotenuse is 37.
So how do you figure out your adjacent? How do you figure out your opposite?
You do 35 squared plus, or 35 squared plus b squared equals 37 squared.
You go find it.
All right, let me do
it. I'm not doing the work. You do the work.
Yeah, I got you.
Because this is what your test looks like.
Okay. Okay, so I got b squared equals 144.
So b is what?
B is 12.
Wrong.
Oh. But the square root of 144 is 12, right?
It's wrong. I know. 144 is 12. Why is wrong?
Yeah, what?
Yep, because it's not 12, it's negative 12.
How?
Because in quadrant 4, your y value is always negative.
Oh, so the 37 will be negative?
No. Everything is 35 and 37 is positive.
Okay, but the final answer would come out negative just because it's in quadrant 4?
Only for the y. So when you do your, as you know that when you do your triangle for quadrant 1, everything is positive, right? So when you do quadrant 1, everything is positive. When you do quadrant 2, this x will be negative, and the y will be positive. Your hypotenuse is positive.
Okay.
When you do quadrant 3, both your x and your y are negative. The hypotenuse is positive. And when you do quadrant 4, your x is positive, your y is negative. Your hypotenuse is always positive.
Okay, I see. And that always applies. So like even if like for example like we said 35 and 37 they were both positive, the answer would be affected based on which quadrant it's in.
Yes, that's the reason why the first thing we do, even not talk about this, we need to figure out what quadrant is it.
Mm-hmm. And we figure out what quadrant it is based on the sine tangent.
Based on this.
Okay.
And then then it can be positive, it can be negative, so you have to watch out carefully. It can be both negative too. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You have to watch out for the stuff. So so negative 12 is correct. So now with this, you can find sine theta, right?
Yes, you can 35 and negative 12. You can just move around the x's and y's.
Yep.
I'm just saying like you can move around.
What is sine theta here?
Sine is it adjacent over hypotenuse?
So katoa. So.
Oh, it's opposite over hypotenuse.
Which is
like x over y or y over r.
Look at here. What's your opposite and what's your hypotenuse?
Oh.
Your triangle is redrawn.
Negative 12 over 37.
So make sure you use this triangle. So it's kind of like a procedure. So first you have to figure out what quadrant is, and then draw the right triangle and figure out a missing. Usually you know the two of them. The third one is always missing. You have to figure out the third one. And then using and then figure out this one is a positive or negative. Like last time you keep on telling me it's 12. I say yeah, and I keep on telling you it's wrong. So make sure you know this is negative for this case. And then after that, use your SOHCAHTOA to do the rest of your value answer.
Okay.
Questions you have on 6.3?
Yes, I do have more question 6.3. I have question. Well, I had question number 10 as well, but yeah, I had question number 10 because the numbers look very confusing.
So again, the good news is you do not need to figure out the quadrant. It's given to you, right?
Right, yeah.
So this is in quadrant 3. So which triangle should we do in quadrant 3? Is that the first one, the second one, the third one, or the fourth one?
The third one, the one that has two negatives.
Yep. So this is for question 10. This is like this. And don't forget, your x and your y has to be what sign?
Negative.
Negative. This is cosine, right? It's given us cosine theta is negative 0.8. Can you change negative 0.8 into fraction?
I believe you could. I didn't know that though.
How many decimal places you move here?
1.
1 means it's over 10.
Yes.
And what is the number above it? If I say 0.8.
Negative 8.
Yeah. Can you reduce this?
Yes.
Which is what? Negative
4 over 5.
Now apply this into here.
Cosine would be the adjacent is negative 4.
Which is?
Yeah, which is this side right there.
And 5 is?
And 5 is the hypotenuse.
So what is your opposite?
I'm gonna need to do it.
If you know your triplets, you can use your triplets. This is one famous triplet. What number is this? So you get 4 and 5.
3.
But 3 is wrong again.
Negative 3.
Thank you. And then the rest you can use your SOHCAHTOA to figure out.
Yeah, the rest I can just
So mostly what I want to point out to you is a lot of students make mistake here is because one, they don't know what quadrant it belongs to. And then 2, just make sure that the sign, although you know the quadrant, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watch the sign. That's the thing that I always point out to for students is, although they figure out the quadrant, the triangles, all the signs are gonna mix up. And if your sign mixing up is wrong, no matter how SOHCAHTOA you do it the correct way, you still get it wrong.
Right.
You there with number 10?
Yeah, I'm good with number 10. My next question is number 40 on 6.3.
This is the same thing we teach you last time.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I might have some questions that are similar. It's just some questions that I was confused about.
So again, last time is from 0 to 90 degrees. This time is 0 to 360. So how many answers do you have if the question is given as 0 to 360 or 0 to 2 pi? How many answers do you guys will have for this case?
3.
For degrees. So if you remember the picture I showed to you, right? The all students take calculus here. If I want positive for sine, you can only have 2 answers. 1 and 2. Okay. If I want positive for cosine, I also have how many answers?
2.
2. So how many answers will you get for this kind of answers?
2.
2. 2 for degrees, and after that 2 for radians, right?
So
now we figure out cotangent 0 degrees. So now if your answer is back to 0 or 1 or some it's not, last time we have √2 and 2 and all this 1/2, right? If your answer is asking for 0 and 1, then your value in this case has to be either 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 or 360. 270 or 360, sorry about that. So you will be using this. So on top of that 3 coordinates that I show you just now, right? So if you want to pick 0, the coordinates is 1, 0.
Okay.
Because your radius is 1, and you cannot go up and down. If you go at 90 degrees, what is the coordinates for the 90 degrees?
0 and 1.
Yep. How about 180 degrees?
-1 and 0.
And 270?
0 and -1. So you just flip them basically. You just add a negative.
Yep, you're correct. Okay. So now for question A, you're doing cotangent 0, right? Can you tell me cotangent is what over what?
Cotangent is
x over y, y over x, 1 over x.
X over y.
So can you, these are your coordinates right now. So can you tell me the green coordinates, which one when you take x divided by y, you get 0?
90 or 360?
No, 90 or what?
90 or, oh wait, that's negative. 90 or, yeah, or 270?
So theta in this case is what?
90/270, yep, or comma 270.
And in radian?
In radians are pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2.
Perfect.
Okay.
Now,
so this is asking for the same thing, just okay, I see.
B is asking for secant theta is -√2. Now remember √2 last time? What angles give us √2?
The one in the middle, the 45?
Yes. So this is actually is 45 degrees. What you learned on the 6-2, right? But now because it has a negative, can you tell me secant is negative in what quadrant?
Secant is negative in quadrant number 3 and quadrant number 2 and 3, right?
Yes, you are right. Quadrant 2 and quadrant 3. Can you tell me 45 degrees in quadrant 2 and quadrant 3?
Quadrant 2 is 135 degrees and quadrant 3 is 225 degrees.
That's correct. That's your answer. In radian?
Okay. It's 225, not 215.
Oh, sorry. Radian?
In radians, it's 3 pi over 4 and 5 pi over 4.
Yep. So you can tell that it's really helpful with the unit circle approach.
Yeah, and unit circle makes everything easier.
Yep. So that's the reason why that I just want to point out to you, how do you know that we are using this unit circle approach to do this? Is they want your answer in, you cannot use a calculator, or sometimes I ask you for the exact value. So this is what I'm talking about, is exact value, and this is what I'm looking for. And again, how many answers you have?
2.
2 for yep.
For each box, yeah.
Because they have to belong to 2 different quadrants.
Yeah. See, one thing I'm always confused about is when you ask us for an exact value, but it's not on the unit circle. Like it would be like
it'll be in the unit circle. Like example is like square of 2 is considered exact value. So that means like if I ask you for what is secant 135 degrees, your answer should be what?
3 pi over 4.
Negative root 2.
Oh, negative 2 over 2.
So you cannot use your calculator and do secant, which is 1 over cosine of this number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it won't even give me the radiant. You won't, right?
They will give you the only thing that if you do like let's say if I do cosine of 35 here, do you know what happens when you type cosine of 35?
No.
I hate this calc. 135, you do the cosine of it, you get all these numbers.
Yeah, that's
this is not exact value.
Yeah.
The exact value for cosine of 135 degrees is negative root 2 over 2.
Right.
So if you do...
Would you ever ask for a question like secant of 150 or 155, for example?
No.
You wouldn't ask for that.
It has to be on the... It has to be... it has to be correspond to 30, 45, and 60 degrees.
Okay.
So it cannot go anything that's not correspond to these 3 numbers.
Okay.
What else you have in 6.3?
6.3, I had 45 down. Is it the same thing? Yeah, if it's the same thing, I get it.
45, you just need to plug. This is all calculator work.
Okay.
So you plug 0 in here, and you plug 1/4 in here, and you plug 1/2 in the t. But make sure you change your degree to radian.
Oh. Okay, so I see. So so you just replace the t with a different number on each.
With 0 and 1/4 and 1/2, yes.
And you just put in the calculator like 3 cosine 9 0.
9 times 0.
Yeah.
Which is 0.
Okay, I see.
So make sure, but the only thing is make sure this is in what form?
Radians.
Radian. So if you don't change it if you change it in degree, you got a wrong answer.
Why do we always have to have it? Like, why do we need to have it in radians right now? Like, when do we know when to have it in radians?
Because this number here, they all doesn't have a degree symbol. So that's why it's in radian. If you want it in degree symbol, then it will look something like this. Where see the degree symbol?
I see.
Then you have to change it to degree.
Okay.
So make sure you see carefully on when you have word problems. If the word problems doesn't have any degree symbol next to it, it's gonna be in radian. But if you see a degree symbols on it, you have to change it to degree. So that's how you figure out degree radian.
Okay. I have questions on 6.4. 14, 20, and 24.
Give me a sec. Which one is it?
14 is the first one.
14. This is a very long process, which you have to watch my old Zoom meeting. So I'm going to do it one time because I have no time to go through all these questions.
Okay, that's fine.
So, so this is what I will tell you in my test. So I'm not going to worry about. So 14 and which one else?
14, 20, and 24.
20 and 24? Yep, they're all the same thing. So again, I won't ask this kind of questions in the test, but you will have to know how to do this. So I'm going to show it to you what I want you to do.
Okay.
We'll do.
Like
so let's try number 20, and I'm not going to go through these tutorial steps here. So I'm going to go through what I want from them. And again, you can watch the Zoom meeting from this section.
Okay. We're good.
I'm going to show it to you what I want and in the test. So it's kind of almost the same as the steps here. So in your test, I will ask you for amplitude. I will ask you for period, phase shift, and D. So do you know how to do this?
I know how to find the amplitude and period.
So what is the amplitude in this case?
Amplitude is 9.
Period is?
Period is 2 pi over x, or over 1, which is 2 pi.
Good. So x is 1. Very good. Phase shift is C over B. That's the formula.
C over B.
And what is C in this case?
There is no C, so I'm assuming 1.
We have a C. No, this is your C.
Okay. Pi over 7.
It's gonna be negative pi over 7.
Why is it negative?
Because your original questions is the original part is actually is A cosine bx minus C plus D.
Oh, okay.
This is the
negative takes
original.
over the positive.
So because this is a positive, so it's your C in this case will be negative.
And if let's assume that it was negative to begin with, would it be positive?
Yep.
Okay.
So what I want to tell you here is this sign is always switched.
Okay.
Your B in this case is 1. So in this case is negative pi over 7. So what is phase shift? You know what's a phase shift mean?
I believe it's where it starts from on the graph.
Yep. And when you have a negative like this, means you move left or you move right?
Left.
Yes. So usually cosine graph starts at 0, right?
Yes.
Because of this phase shift, you have to move it to the left of negative pi over 7. That's the meaning of the phase shift.
Okay.
Do we have a D here?
Domain is all real numbers.
No,
right?
not domain. D. Not the domain.
Oh no, we don't have a D.
D means you either go up or down. We don't have.
Okay.
So do you know what is the 5 original of your cosine graph?
No, that's the main thing that I struggle with.
So the first point, let's look at the black one. That's the original. What is the coordinate of this first point? Your x is
my
0.
X is 0, yeah.
And your y is
1.
0 or
1.
This is 0, 1. This is coordinate 0, 1. The next point you have is right over here, the green one. What is that coordinates?
1, 0?
No. Don't forget, they're all in terms of pi here.
Oh, pi negative or positive pi over 7?
This is pi over 2 and 0.
Okay.
And what is the third point here? The blue one.
Pi over
pi.
Okay.
And negative 1.
Okay.
And then the next point is back up here. The red point. What was that going to be?
Is it 3 pi over 2?
And your y value is
0.
0. And the last one is back up here. The gray point.
0.
What's your y value? What's the x value here? That 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2.
0.
No. 2 pi.
2 pi.
And 1.
Okay. Is 2 pi the degree, or is 2 pi the radians for 360?
Yes.
Okay.
360, yes.
Okay.
So you need to watch out for this. This is a cosine graph. And I think we go through this on the Zoom meeting. So I would recommend you to rewatch this again because this is very important. And then what you need to figure out next is to take this equals to 0 and equals to 2 pi. The reason why that we make this become 0 and 2 pi is because that is where your beginning and your ending. So if you look at your equation, that means you have to take x plus pi over 7 equals to 0. And x plus pi over 7 equals to 2 pi. And you have to solve for x here. So what is x in this case when you solve for it?
Pi over 7.
Negative pi over 7.
Or negative pi over 7.
So that means that it will start at negative pi over 7. And where does it end? So again, subtract pi over 7 here. So what is 2 pi take away pi over 7?
I don't know how to do that one.
What do you mean you don't know how to do this one? Are you sure you're in my right class? You cannot do this kind of fraction?
Yeah.
What is 2 minus 1/7?
2 minus...
This is what it is.
It's just 1 over 7?
Oh my. You cannot do 2 take away 1/7? Are you sure you're in my, am I right? That's my question is, are you sure you're in my class? You cannot do 2 take away 1/7?
Yes.
Faris, come on, you should know how to do this. Because if you doesn't know how to do this, then how can you do 2 pi minus pi 7?
Does it add?
Subtract.
Oh.
Holy macaroni, cannot do this. This is, do you know this is algebra 0? You're in trig. This is like 4 steps above algebra 0.
Oh. Well, I mean,
this is over 1. What's the LCD here?
You get a common denominator.
Which is?
7.
So you multiply this by 7, what you get?
14.
What's your answer?
13 over 7. 13 pi over 7.
Yes.
Yeah. I knew it. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, I was just blinking.
Make sure you know this. This is important.
Yeah, I got you.
So next thing we need to figure out is what do we need to add to this? So in order for us to add to this, you have to take the period divided by 4. The reason why you divide by 4 is because we got 4 quadrants.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fixed. You have to divide by 4. And the period in this case is 2 pi that you figure out in here. So what is 2 pi over 4 is?
Just
reduce.
Yeah.
What's 2 over 4 reduce? Reduce a fraction.
2 pi divided by 4.
Reduce the fraction. Can you reduce 2 over 4?
Yes.
What is 2/4 reduce?
1 over 2.
So that's the reason why that you guys are all struggling in fraction, and that's what happens. So next, what you need to do here is you have to add pi over 2. So what is negative pi over 7 plus pi over 2?
So you got to get a common denominator for that one.
Which is what?
Multiply by 7, multiply by 2 each side.
Which is, what's the LCD here?
You can't multiply something that gets you 7.
What is the LCD for 7 and 2?
What do you? I can't
What's
hear
the least? What is the least common denominator for this case?
14.
What do you need to multiply on this one?
2.
And what do you need to multiply on the other one?
7.
So what do you get?
Negative 2 pi and 7 pi.
Which is?
5 pi.
Over
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
You do the same thing. Take the 5 pi over 14 plus pi over 2.
Common denominator.
What's the common denominator?
7.
Mm-hmm.
So 14 on the bottom, and
this multiplied by 7.
Mm-hmm. So 5 pi plus 7 is 12 pi.
Can you reduce this one?
Yes.
Which is?
Divide by 4, which is 3 over. Wait, what?
Yeah, what? That's the same thing I'm asking you. What?
2.
Wait.
Okay, 2 over 7.
What?
2 over 7.
It's 6 pi over 7.
Yes.
See, that's the reason why you guys are struggling, because of fraction, not because you don't understand this. You just, all right, what is 12 pi over 14? Add another pi over 2.
Okay, common denominator times 7 on each side, which is, so 12 plus 7 is 19 pi over 14.
Now that one cannot reduce. And yes, if you add another pi over 2 with this, you should get with 13 pi over 7. So this is how you figure out all your x value. And next, you have to figure out all the y values, because the y value is all blank here. The y values is affected by A and D. So you take all the y values that you have, which is this y originally, all these y values you see here. You have to multiply this by A and add D to it.
Okay.
So this is 1. What is my A is 9, right?
Yes.
We don't have a D, right? So what you do is you just need to take all this y value you see here, and you just need to multiply by what?
By 1?
By 9.
Oh, the 1 by 9. Yeah, okay.
So 1 times 9, you get what?
9.
0 times 9?
0.
Negative 1 times 9?
Negative 9.
0 times 9?
0.
1 times 9?
9. My only question is, how do you? Okay, so I get how you find the bottom row, but I don't like the first row. Is it based on which sign you have? Is it cosine or sine or?
The first row, you have to look at the I already teach you how to do this. I don't know what you guys. You need to know basic. This is something I already teach you on the first. That's why, Faris, I hate to say that. You just need to go watch it again.
Okay, that's fine.
Because it is right here, actually. If you go and watch it, it's right here. I'm gonna skip the ad here. So go watch the video.
That video?
Very easy. Just type graph sine function basic. And they will tell you how it works.
So you think I should watch that specific video, right?
I already did it. You can also watch my YouTube video. And it's already there. So if you watch my YouTube video that I have, this is something that, because you guys doesn't watch things. I don't know. Did you watch my YouTube video?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Then you should know how to do this.
I watched 2 of them.
No point of arguing with you. All right, so if you watch my YouTube video on the, I think it's on the meeting. No, not this one. This one. Let me see. Which one is that one? Not 29th. I think it's January 26th is the one that you watch. Yep. So watch this January 26th Zoom meeting. And I will teach you how you figure out the 5 sign. Using the unit circle, how you get the 5 coordinates point.
Okay.
And then I also do cosine for that one. See, this is the sine, 5 coordinate points, and this is cosine.
Okay.
If you look at
these sine and cosine are basic on all the problems?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is how I get these 5 coordinate points. You have to watch it.
Okay. I believe that was the day that well, you probably don't remember, but I was trying to get in the Zoom call with you, and you.
Oh, then you can watch it. If you are not in my Zoom call,
I'll watch it. I'll definitely rewatch it for sure.
This is gonna be on And that's how you get my 5 coordinates point here. So if you look at this, I really recommend you to watch it. So
yeah, no, I will definitely watch
really
it.
recommend you to watch this one because this is very important.
Mm-hmm.
And I would recommend you to get this.
I will.
And once you get these 5 points, you can graph it. So this last 5 points that you have, that is your answer.
Mm-hmm.
So negative pi over 7 is right here. And 9 is up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 pi over 14. So 5 pi over 14. So what happened is that this is actually 5 pi over 14.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at 0. And then the next one we have is 6 pi over 7. And that will be at negative 9. And then 19 pi over 14. This is at 0. And the last one is 13 pi over 7 is at 9. So your graph will look something like this.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So once you get, so that's why you need to know how to do this. So make sure you know how to graph a cosine graph.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I want you to graph, this is the next section, secant graph, exactly the same. You do that exactly the same, but you just need to give me your asymptotes.
Okay.
But if you want to draw next section, which is they want you to draw secant and cosecant graph, you have to need to know how to draw the cosine and the sine graph, and then give me the asymptote, and then your vertical asymptote is always on the x-intercept.
Uh-huh.
So what happened is that this one will go up, and then this one will go down, and then this one will go up. So this is your secant graph.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want you to graph 9 secant x plus pi over 7, the green graph that I draw is your answer.
Okay.
But in order for you to graph this, you have to graph the cosine graph first.
Mm-hmm.
The orange graph first, then you do your secant graph. So usually 6,4 and 6,5, they go along each other.
Okay.
So you have to practice. This is something that you need to practice. This is something that I can show it to you, but if you don't practice on top of it, then no point of me teaching you. You have to practice on your own. And this is...
I have this in mind, but I want to see if you're cool with it. So what I'm going to do right now for the next few days, I want to go over all your videos and rewatch them and try to learn it on my own and everything. And if I still have any more questions, do you think you would be available for an hour on any single day in the next few days?
Yes, but I really want you to concentrate on 7.1 and 7.2.
I will. No, I'm talking about on the side days. Like right now, I'll be concentrating on 7.1, 7.2, and then like on Thursday after the homework was due, I'm gonna start working and watching your videos. And maybe next Monday if you're available, or any day that you're available, really.
I will recommend you do the review for the test.
Okay, where is that?
In your textbook.
In my textbook, okay.
So you go to the textbook. So that means you haven't watched my YouTube video yet.
Mm-hmm.
I already told you. So you go to the textbook here, the ebook, anywhere you want, and then you go all the way to the chapter tests. So you go to chapter 6,
mm-hmm.
and then you go to the chapter test at the back. So you go all the way. There is a chapter test.
Mm-hmm.
Click on it, and this is your chapter. This is the practice. This is your review for your test.
Okay.
So do this.
For sure.
This is a battle
before the test, for sure.
Because in your test there's no help button.
Mm-hmm.
So don't utilize the answer that well, because in the test there's no answer.
Exactly.
Like that's the reason why that a lot of students struggle in my class, is because they use the help button too much.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the test they don't have any help button, they screw.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you to really, really try. Like this is the one that we just talked about your triangles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How many questions is the test?
I haven't set up the test yet.
Okay.
So this is the one that this is a graph, the one that I just did over here.
Right.
This is the one. Try to do this.
Okay.
You do not need to do this. Do not need to do 14 and 15 because we don't use graphing tools.
Mhm.
So, and then the last few of them are in 6.6, which we didn't go over. So I would recommend you to do all these question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 13.
So you think if I do this test and I do good on this test, do you think I will be in good hands for the test, for the actual
You
graded
should.
test?
If you do this without doing referring to.
Yeah.
If you say, oh, number one, I doesn't know what to do number one, and you start looking at your books or your notes or whatever it is, then
No, I'll do that test when I'm done with everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that test when I'm ready. Yeah.
If you can do number one by yourself without watching anything or just do it without looking at the answers, yes. But once you start looking at your answers and refer to something else, then the answer is no.
Okay.
Then you change this number.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Change this number. If you are okay, I did look at how to do this. So let's change it to 5 pi over 4 to 5 pi over 3 or 5 pi over 6 or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
I got it.
Change this to instead of 105 to 99. Just change a little bit of the number used here.
I got you.
But your answer is going to be different because you change your numbers.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you to do that. That is something, if you refer to something else, then change your numbers here. But it's very similar to your test, so I would recommend you to do this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think well, I did have minor questions on 6.5 and 6.6, but I feel like after watching your videos and doing all
I would recommend watching. Yep.
Yeah.
And I was also concentrate on 7.1. 7.1 and 7.2 is very difficult.
Okay.
I don't know if you start working on it yet, but 7.1 and 7.2, chapter 7 is a killing chapter.
Okay.
Chapter 6 is not too killing. Chapter 7 is.
Okay, good to know.
So that's the reason why I was like, today I was hoping to teach you 7.1, 7.2, but you asked for chapter 6.
Yeah.
So do chapter 7.1 and 7.2 first, and then you have time, watch the video and do chapter 6.
Okay, I got you.
Right.
All right, I'll stay in touch with you, and thank you so much for your help.
Yep.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye.